If you get caught up in the wrong crowd, you're gonna do what they do.
I was looking for drugs. My son asked a lady in the convenience store if she knew where the hard was.
Courts traditionally are the last stop in the criminal justice process. When you get to the judge, it's time to be sentenced to something. Whereas with drug court, we look upon it a little bit differently. We're trying not to sentence them. We bring them in and work with them.
I hope I make it this time for myself and my children.
Well, there's no reason you wouldn't make it, Lori. Well, let me say this, hoping to make it, no one ever made it hoping.
Going to make it.
That's right. You make it because you push yourself and you work it, okay?
Okay.
And I'm confident that you will. I mean, since you've been in here, you've really had a good attitude and done well.
Yeah, I have.
You know, we started years ago with the adult drug court.
Do you have a sponsor now?
Quite frankly, we were really amazed at the success that we were having with the adult drug court.
Every dollar spent on drug treatment rather than spending that dollar on prison is a, it's a multiplier. If you spend the money on drug court, you're not going to have to spend $10 on putting the person away in prison, and you're going to get some return on your money.
Are you working?
I found a job. I start Monday at the beach, masonry engineering, and I made an appointment with outpatient at 2:30 on Monday. That's the only appointment he had. The name is Howard, and I'll start, phase 3 outpatient next week, Monday night.
What we were doing before drug court is just sentencing someone to jail. Well, you can sentence an addict to jail for 3 months or 6 months or a year, but at the end of that time, you still have an addict. And so they're right back doing the same thing. And so it's just a matter of warehousing them or trying to address the problem and get a handle on it and make them productive citizens. Have you got your weekend planned out, Ken?
Yes, sir. Since I got out on Tuesday and after I found the job, I made 13 meetings since I've seen you last.
Have you really?
And I've been founded sponsor and got to see my children. It's been a real positive week for me.
I think that's good that you're doing that. The other thing I would encourage you to do over the weekend, which I think from people that have left here that's helped them, plan on doing some exercise. I tell people it.
I run in the morning. I started in jail running and working out.
You did?
And I ran at residential, and I continue every morning at 5 o'clock. I get up and run.
See, that's a very, very beneficial thing.
Yes, sir.
It really is. Burns off. I should be up doing it, but I mean, it really does help you quite a bit. We all need to exercise. I'm not suggesting you should go run 26 miles, but
no, sir.
The idea of running and exercise can be.
I feel better today.
Well, that's great.
You know, the value is unmeasurable when you really think about it, of how much is going on in this person's life when they come into the program, and then what happens to that individual when they graduate and stand before their peers and the judge gives them that certificate and shakes their hand, to know that they're going back out into the community and being able to be a resourceful individual.
Every study that has ever been done of crime indicates that drug addiction or drug dependence will always be a significant contributor. So if you fail to address the cause of so much crime, you're doing very little to prevent it.
And even people, we've had people that have been in drug court and haven't made it. But because they've been exposed to the possibility of making it, then it may be a year or so later that they'll finally come around and they'll come back and visit and say, hey, it was the we have people that haven't gone without drugs for years. You bring them in drug court and they go 30 days, they think they're cured. Well, of course they're not, but they've been exposed to the possibility of success, and that's what really counts. And how things going with your living situation and all?
Still at home with my wife.
It's
getting better as long as I don't use drugs. Things just keep getting better, so.
They come into court and if they're doing well, we say good things about them. And I'm proud of them. They got a job, they're making money, they're doing things that they haven't done for years. Their family's proud of them. You know, they're being reunited with parents or with spouses or things like that. How about your mom and dad? Do you see them at all?
Probably once a week.
You do?
Yeah.
And how do they feel like? They know you're in this program?
Yes, sir. My whole family's very supportive, so
okay.
Home front's looking pretty good.
Corey, you've only been here a few weeks, but you appear to be doing real well. You appear to be pushing yourself and making an effort.
Might not have another chance.
Corey, I want to tell you this. Do not,
because I've seen it happen, become overconfident. You should be proud of yourself. You've gone, how long has it been now since you used any drugs?
35 days.
Okay. That's a long time for someone like you. I know that. And we've had people come in and they go, gosh, I haven't used drugs for a month. I must be all better. Don't let that happen to you. Just keep pushing yourself like you're doing, being around positive people, thinking positive about yourself. And truthfully, it's a lifestyle change. You're used to being around some people and that go to certain areas, and it's a hard thing to do, but you're doing very well at it. So just keep doing like that, okay?
Okay.
And all those people you used to hang around with, they're going to see you say, hey, Carl, and they're not going to understand how you're able to do so well. And it's not your job to go and convert them. They'll figure it out on their own. You just keep doing well for yourself, okay?
All right.
All right, see you on August 30th.
Okay.
All rise. Jacksonville Duval County Dependency Drug Court is now in session. The Honorable Lester B. Bass presiding. There will be no talking in court. Please be seated and come to order.
All right. Good afternoon. Dependency Drug Court is now in session. We're ready to get started.
Here we have what's called the Dependency Drug Court. In this court, we have parents, mothers and fathers, who've been accused or have been found to have abused, abandoned, or neglected their children. And as part of that, drugs have been involved. And over the years, the court has found that it's been very difficult for parents involved in illegal drugs to work a case plan in 12 months and get their children back. We felt that it's very necessary for them to have some very intensive court supervision and treatment. Those combinations tend to work in terms of getting the parent off the drugs and ultimately reuniting the family.
I want you to understand, Dependency Drug Court, we're here trying to get you off drugs so you can put your family back together. And as part of your treatment in this program, we understand that you're going to relapse. But if you're going to relapse, we expect you to do the things in treatment that's going to help prevent that. But you haven't been doing that.
Now, incarceration for a weekend or 4 days is pretty meaningful. Incarceration for 90 days, well, the last 86 don't mean much. They're the same, but short terms of incarcerations in order to encourage compliance so that they go to meetings, so that they go to their groups, we've found to be very, very effective.
Do we have anything available for her once she gets out of jail?
When I discussed it with River Region about transferring her to them, there was an issue of having so many days clean before you, and I'll let, because that would have to be the alternative at this point, is to move her to their location, but I wasn't sure how many days clean she'd have to have before you could accept her, if you accepted her.
That's an issue. I spoke with the director out at our residential facility with our halfway house Fresh Start, and I'll have to come back to you on the amount of days that she would need clean. I know there would need to be more than 5.
At the family team conference, we figure out what the family's needs are to help best so they can get their kids back and not have this happen to them again in the future.
I try to bring everything that I know to the court's attention so that we can be more supportive of those clients.
Well, I've got one better for you in terms of structure. Because of your conduct, what you did, what you showed me, I'm making a recommendation that you be taken into custody. The circuit judge has issued a writ for your arrest, and you'll be taken into custody today. And they'll take you back downtown to appear before the circuit dependency judge, and you'll have a hearing, and my recommendation is that you be incarcerated.
We asked her to continue in treatment and do those things that treatment was recommending to her that we knew would help keep her clean, but she chose to meet a friend or a complete stranger, according to her, at a bus stop and go off and do drugs with them. So that type of behavior is unacceptable.
Interestingly enough, when you have a whole group, which we have when we do court, and you sentence one to a weekend in jail, all the others are impacted by that. And it causes them to say, hey, I'm going to try a little harder, I'm going to show up on time, I'm going to do the things that they're being asked to do.
But I think jail is part of the program. They understand that that's part of the program, that they may actually have to go back to jail and start over before they actually get on a level plane where everything's working well.
And when we step in, we're able to bring the hands together and rebuild that family, because that's what's most important. Because after they finish the program, they're still there. So if you don't rebuild the family there and rebuild the communication and the trust, so when they graduate, they're not going to succeed. So again, as you always hear, everything starts at home, and we believe that, and that's why we provide family counseling, we provide the individual counseling, and group counseling, and that's what's most important, is getting that family together as one and uniting them.
Many of our clients have never looked for a job, don't know how to interview for a job.
Some other examples of case plan tasks that the parents might have to complete are parenting skills classes, anger management, psychological or psychiatric evaluations, and follow all recommendations.
Learning how, I can't say even learning how to re-enter the real world, because the truth is I've never been in the real world. I've never been able to take care of myself and my son by myself, and I'm learning to do that, and it's only through the services that are provided for me at Gateway Community Services through Dependency Drug Court.
The greatest means for our success is that the client has to want to be off drugs. If we can get a client who wants to be off drugs, then we know we're going to be successful.
When I first got into the program, I was so self-centered and so insecure, and I had like this attitude, like I didn't care about anything, I didn't care about life, and I only cared about me and getting through this program so I could go back to doing what I was doing.
I think for a majority of people, when they first get in the program, I think they think it's going to be, especially with the juveniles, that it's going to be another program that I can just skate through. I can, you know, fake my way through this one again. But I think after a little while, it hits a realization that we are actually there to help them. We actually do care. We actually are checking on them, checking with them at school. We're in their life consistently. So they're getting the help, like you said, from the whole team.
Drug courts are untraditional as compared to other parts of the criminal justice system. It's really a holistic approach or a holistic effort where the judge, the prosecutor, the defense counsel, and the treatment people all work together for the benefit of the client, who is potentially a very serious criminal defendant.
Juvenile drug court is not your traditional court. I've once heard insanity described as, or defined as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, the way we've handled drug court cases has been a failure through the years. Juvenile drug court is different because we act in a non-traditional fashion.
We conduct home visits, random hours of the day. We go into the home. If there's any family issues or individual issues, we are able to get family counseling, individual counseling into the home. We believe that if we help the home life out, then therefore that's going to take some of the stress off the parents and the client, so therefore their treatment will be more successful.
We're about 4 or 5 weeks into this grading period. Do you think we'll have progress reports from everyone today?
Everyone should have progress reports today.
Okay, we usually go back to 3 weeks.
As well as their support activities for their community service, their volunteer services that they do.
Okay. Anything else we need to discuss? Any other clients?
I'd like to discuss Stephanie Cullen. She's supposed to be graduating today, and I got an email that she missed a drop on Friday. She says that her color was not called on Friday nor Saturday, that she was called on Wednesday and Thursday and made drops both of those days. She'll do another drop today in court, but she says her color was not called.
In our regular weekly staffings, and sometimes more frequently, I hear about the cases and what's going on with the clients in drug court from a number of professionals. I might get an email from the case manager. I might hear from someone in the public defender's office who might drop by just to speak to me and tell me we need to get this child back on the docket. I might hear from treatment. But it's a team effort, and I have resources available to me as a judge that were never there in dealing with traditional felony prosecutions. We have some graduations today we're going to start off with. Nicole? How are you doing today, Nicole?
Good.
I thought you might be by the size of that smile you and your mom have.
I'm 17. I'll be 18 tomorrow. I'd actually got arrested in late December for marijuana and narcotics at school, and they put me in drug court because it was my first offense.
Well, these grades look great.
If you immediately tell a person for the first time probably in their life that an institution trusts them, the courts trust them, it doesn't mean they're not going to violate that trust in small ways as they go through the process. But it means that they feel a little bit better about themselves. And when they come into the courtroom, not from the jail chute, but through the door of the courtroom with family and friends here with them, they feel like they're participating in a process as opposed to being processed as a criminal.
I couldn't stand going to jail. I couldn't do that. I have a future, and I realized that I needed to get off drugs and continue with my future. And that by choosing this program, it doesn't just help me as a person, but it helped my whole family as well. I'm going to finish high school, and I'm going to go to FCCJ for 2 years, and then I'm going to major in medicine and then go to law school and become a medical lawyer.
Probably one of the most rewarding is to see a juvenile who comes to this program with zeros in school. Zeros meaning he doesn't even attend school. And at the end of the program, be on the AB honor roll back in his home school. We have literally hundreds of stories like that.
So what juvenile drug court tries to do is put structure in their life and discipline in their life, which is what we all need in order to be successful.
I refuse to give up. I refuse to let them give up, because you have to find new ways to challenge these kids, whether it be in sports or writing or dancing, something that gives them that little bit of hope, that little bit of happiness. If you find that, then you can open up the doors for them. And if they see something other than the front porch or something that's going on other than school, if they see something they can feel good at or know that they're good at, you'll have a better success rate with them. Get them clean, because then they're able to think better. You know, they have a different thought process. It's not about getting high every day. It's about, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to make an A. That I made an A. I was in court and the judge applauded me for making an A. And if they're going to take that feeling with them and make better decisions from that.
You know, a lot of times people that have actually graduated from the program will call my cell phone now and just say, hey, Officer Dickinson, this is so-and-so. Do you remember me? Absolutely, I remember you. How are you doing? I'm doing good. How are you? I just wanted to check in and let you know, hey, I'm finishing school, I'm graduating, I'm getting my GED or whatever. So that definitely makes my heart smile to have them call me back and know that I made an impact in their lives.
And the results are what you're looking for, and drug court produces the results. The recidivism is very low compared to our traditional prosecution of drug cases. And plus, we're contributing something to society because each of the children do learn to do something for other people.
When you look at all that and the resources that are saved within the community, $25,000 a year if we sentence them to the prison system, that's just for a year. And in drug court, we can deliver all these services for less than $2,500 per individual.
If the public could actually see it and understand it, and understand the economic impact, then I think we'd have more support for funding, because we need more money. It's a token program. We only have a handful of people in here compared to the need that we've got, the number of people who need the resource. We could run 5 drug courts, or we could run 5 times the number of people through drug court and still not touch the problem, and still save a lot of money for the taxpayers. So if we could get that message across, that drug court, for those people who are charged with drug offenses, who are not the big sellers, drug court is a positive thing.
I think about 10, 20 years from now where I'm going to be, because I've already been through all this, I don't want to go back. I've learned my lesson, and so I'm thinking way into the future now.
I'm thankful, definitely. That is high up on my gratitude list. Thankful for Dependency Drug Court for, believing in me enough to put their name on the line with the criminal system to get me back into here and help me learn how to be a drug-free mom.